Okay, so let's come to let's go to the selection. So the selection is not all that difficult. Okay, we have various types of doing a selection, and I'm sure you know all those types already. These are some of them. You can use the laser tool. This is what we call the laser tool. You can use the marquee tool. That one is also for a selection, but not used all the time. You can also use the pen tool, the pen tool, the pen tool for selection. So let's go straight to the point. So now you can just drag over the selection. Now I'm using the bracket keys for the increasing and decreasing for the pointer. So now when it's too big, it selects and it goes inside. When it's small, it helps at least, even though it won't select big places like that at once, but you see that you achieve better results than this. So you can see how jagged it is, just basta like that. So when you do it like this, sometimes to me personally, it just delays time. So then control D for the select, then everything go. So let's use select subject. The select subject will help you just do everything. Then the only thing you have to do is straighten the edges and do some other things. So now we have to zoom in what our selection, so that we see where exactly is wrong and where is perfect. Now as you can see, the majority of the selection is good. So now we are reducing the pointer or the selection to reducing the size of the selection to, so that we can do it. Now shift is for adding and alt is for subtracting. You can also use this one for the subtracting and the addition. So now I'll be using a shortcut, so you won't be seeing that I'm doing anything, but I'm using a shortcut. So this, then you can see this place like this. Okay, so you, even though you'll be working on it at another place, but you have to at least know, do something right over here before you go away. So as you can see, yes, Adobe is just doing everything for us, not all that difficult. So then we scroll down, so you can just come here and do the scrolling. That one easy. So let's go back to our selection. So you select, okay, it's inside too much. So then you can just be clicking. So when you click, when the mouse pointer is big and you see that that's the only portion that is needed. You can just be clicking and clicking and clicking. It will just be expanding. So this place you are supposed to subtract and put it inside Then looks like that's all you've got to do. It has selected every other portion very well. So if you want to see it well too, you can just click on the Q too. So when you click on the Q too, you take the brush. That is for very very stubborn selections. Now my brush is very very big, so it looks like there's nothing here. Yeah, it is. So the same thing. You see that now white. You say white colors. White removes color in the mask, workspace. You say white removes color in blank, so it adds color, something like that. They have some terms for those ones. Sorry, I wanted to swap this one. Now the swapping also, you can use X, then you move in between X, you toggle between the colors, the background and foreground and background colors. So you're going to be using the white. Now when you say white on the background, look at what happens. Yes, so it subtracts from the mask. Now when you use the black, so when you want to cover it, it's only the black. That's all. Then you cover it with the black. So this is what this one does. So now when you want to add to the selection, and so you see how this is where you need these ones. Sometimes you can't do these things exactly. Now when you click at one side for this one, when you get to a split edge, look at one side, the second line you hold a shift and then you click, it will just make a straight line. So you can see that one also. Then another, so that one is also another trick for enhancing these selections. If you don't get a solid background where Adobe does everything for you, simple, then you go out. So at least everything is gone. So this is what generally happens in this workspace, this hidden workspace. Not everybody knows it, but it's good. So press the Q again, then everything goes back. So now before you enter into the select a mask workspace, you can go to it through two ways. Any of the selection tools can send you to the when you click on any of the selection tools, you see that select a mask will come. This one also select a mask comes. This one also select a mask comes. So you can see that select a mask comes at every. So anyone, then you just click here. Just click here. Now when you add the black background, this is how it appears. This is how it appears because of the way we go home. Then now choose a select, or let's do a double click one. So enter and select mask exactly. So now we've entered, and now is the picture is like there's nothing has happened to it because my transparency is 0, it's 20. So now that we can see it, now we are in the select the mask workspace. Now the Adobe 2020, you can see that you can even there's more to this one than just anything. So now you can zoom in for better viewing when things are happening. So now this one, it is advisable. It's advisable that you work with the body first, then you go and come back and work with the hair, because let's see something. Now the smoothness the smoothness just works on the edges. So you can see that when I increase the smoothness, you can see how the edges has become. When I reduce the edges, you can see how the edges have become. So you give it some smoothness, then the edges become soft. Then now the feather, see how it does. So it expands the mask. That's what it does. Now you increase once more. When you increase once more, then you increase the contrast. When you increase the contrast, you say to solve it. To solve the way. Now you increase it until it works perfectly. So now as for the shift edge just works with whether the mask comes in or it goes out. That is generally what it does. So normally I don't even work with the shift edge like that. So now this is what we've got, and it's like, so normally also I don't work with this one also, a feather also, because sometimes I don't even see what I'll be using it for in my work. So now we can see these places. Now you can see how it is now. At least it's becoming better. Now when when you when you these settings are here. Okay, when the settings are here and you refining the try refining the hair, it will these settings will end up affecting the hair. Okay, to end up affecting the hair. So let's take it. Let me just do an example for you, then you see. So see what is happening. See what is happening. So this is what the refined edge is mainly for. So everything is got the settings. That's what's affecting everything. So I'm just doing Control Z, so that to undo everything I just did. So now this is what we did at first. So now here you go down here. Most of the time some backgrounds takes the hair takes the color of the background. So therefore making your composition, if I say composition I mean the changing of background and other stuff. So therefore making your composition become some way, because you can see the color of the background in the hair and other stuff. But so that's what this decontaminate color is for. So when you click it, it's like here it's not showing. But in my case, the hair takes the color of the background, then you see that it will give it the hair the color of the hair. Then it will go away. Now, new layer with new mask. This is what you're supposed to choose. So now the okay, then you see the changes that has affected this one. Now you see that this layer has been turned off and this layer has been turned on. The select a mask workspace where we said new layer with new mask. So therefore this was the one we created originally. But now we can see that this one we don't even need this one again. So just drag it into the bin like that. So now you can just double click as I said, then you come back here again. So now you can see that the settings here is just so you can see that now everything is gone back to the default settings. Now, so this time we'll not be using anything over there. Now, one of the best ways of doing these things is by clicking on these radios. When you increase the radios to one, it will just give you one line, and that's what I want right now. To one, then you click on the show edge. You see that it's only the edge that is showing. Now you take the refined edge brush tool. Now what it does is that it works with uh, Adobe AI to look for the edge. So now you are going to help Adobe look for the hair where the hair areas are. So now you can reduce the opacity also. Then you see it. Reduce the opacity. So now this is what they are doing like this, like this, like this. So now when we finish this, you see what is going to happen. So now you see that without settings, you see that it's working. So just look at what will. So now this is just like this. So now this side also when we were doing the this, I saw that it entered. So we do this one. Then we want to make everything look real. So you remove any spot. So all those scanners with the hints of we doing everything, we want to just hide all of them. So you can see some of them. Then so this is what the refined edge does generally. So when we finish, you see what exactly has happened to your picture. So then we finish just like that, just like that. We increase the opacity to 100. Now this is what we want Adobe to look at to do the selection for us. So this one you reduce the radius to 0, then you uncheck the show edge. So now you can see what has happened to the hair. So now the hair looks realistic. The hair looks realistic. And now even though these things are showing here, but don't worry, when we leave this workspace, it will disappear. And I don't know why this time these things are showing, but in the refined edge in the CS5, it doesn't do anything like this. Now this is generally what we are coming to do over here. So now we save. Yes, we save in a layer mask. We save in a layer mask. This time the selection has appeared. So we save in a layer mask. So now let's just go to this. Okay, and now you can see that there is at least this one looks more real than before. So now this is generally how you are doing the selection. Generally how you are doing selection. So I'm going to make it fit to the screen, then we see whatever you've done. Do this. So now I drag and then drop it on the background. Now it has become small. Now, before we do that, let's convert it to a smart object. When you convert to a smart object, it helps you maintain the details. So you're going to transform. So you can go through the long process, file, sorry, edit, then free transform. So you can see the shortcut also here, Control T. So you can also use Control T. I normally use Control T. That process is very long. So now don't worry about the way it's looking right now, but when you press OK, you see that everything will start working nice, nice. So let's position it well so that we see in case, so that when somebody sees it, the person will think it's a real life image. So now, because of the way the foot has done, we also have to hide it as if our camera also hid it exactly. So now this is what we are going to do. So now look at it. Now here right now, you can see that it looks like a real picture, very real. So now Control plus 0 makes it full screen. Then I say it looks like it looks real. Now there are only some few things for us to do, and then we are gone. Now we are supposed to add shadow, and we are supposed to blend the image to the background, even though at least this image has the same brightness, almost the same brightness and everything as the background, so there won't be much of a work to do, but we will do some few works. So now the shadow, you come to the brush, take the brush, okay. So the brush doesn't want to work because it's a smart object. So let's rasterize the layer. Then it's working now. It's working now. So now Control Z. Keep this thing uh, as a smart object. Now mostly mostly we use layers. Use layers in this one to control whatever we are doing. So now when I add a layer, this is the new layer icon. Create a new layer. So create a new layer, that's it. So now when I come here, it works. It works. So now when I add a shadow, normally I like to send it back. I like to send it behind the distance so that straight away I don't have any problem. So like this, click on it. You see that thing? Now it's on a new layer. So therefore I can just do Control T, free transform. Then you see that it has selected only the shadow I'm creating. So you do this, you hold shift. Now when you don't hold shift and you pull it, you see that all every part of the this thing expands. So but we just want to make it look like it's a shadow reflecting towards the person taking the picture. As we can see that what in the picture, the light source is looks like this place. It's at the top. You can see that it's at the top. So that's the reason why this part of this tree is black and this part is colorful. At least it's bright. This one too is bright. You can see that the down is black. This one too is the top is bright, the down is black. You can see that this is just like in the afternoon, so no problem. So now in the afternoon we don't really have long shadows. Yes. So now you press shift, then you hold, sorry, the left mouse button or your on your either mouse or the touchpad. Then you pull it. It's only one side that is pulling. Yes, exactly. So that's what we want. Then now you have to leave the touchpad before the shift. If you leave the shift before the touchpad, you see that it will just do something else. Let me just do that quickly and you will see what I'm talking about. Now I'm holding the shift and I'm dragging. When I leave the shift first, you see that everything moves. So everything moves. But when I hold the shift and I pull it and I lift my hand on the mouse button before the shift, no problem. So now we can also use this one, no problem. We can use this one. So now for it to make real, let's open it more. So I'm still holding the shift and I'm only holding this side. Then I'm pulling it inside like this. Now we know that that shadow doesn't look real. That shadow doesn't look real, so don't worry, we'll do it real. So you can either blur it or you can reduce the opacity. Them works. So okay, so now V is for the move tool, the shortcut for the move tool, or you can just first we were at the brush column. Now you can just click this one, then you just go. But the process is very long, so it's good to know some of these shortcuts. So now then you like this, pull this like this towards this direction. Now you can see that the direction of the leg is in a different direction of the shadow. So now control T again, then you just rotate it slightly, slightly, yes. So now this one is good. So then I'm holding shift again and I'm just doing that again. So the same thing like that. Okay, so the same thing like that. So now this one is deep. You can just go, okay, so okay, and the shadow is there. So now you can just come here and reduce the opacity. You see that it will reduce the opacity for you. Or you just select with the shadow layer selected, you go to filter, you go to blur, Gaussian blur, then now with this you see that it is blurring the image. So it is blurring the image. And I only give it, so you see what happened. So this thing is missing. So let me do it again, then you see what happens. You see the image here, you see that the image has disappeared. So let's bring it down small, then it will come. So we increase it, yes. So now this one is quite real. Yes, this one is quite real. So now it looks like I've decreased the opacity too. That's the problem. So this, okay, we can reduce it small so that it will look realistic. So now that being said, so now we can see the image. You just click on the image and it does it. Okay, so that one there is no problem. So I'm just trying to make the leg look like it has touched the ground. So with a shadow also at that place, it will work very well. So now it looks like it's on the ground, like real on the ground. So as we can see, so now we can see that the whole place is dark. So the whole place is bright, sorry. So the shadow forming and everything is becoming one hell of. Now when you read the flow also, it helps in it gives it some magical touch. So now that's where I stand it. So in the real world, your shadow will always fall over there. Okay, shadow will always fall. Now X, when I toggle the background color, it will become white. Then look at what happens. So control Z, and I don't want that to happen. So I only want the black, of course. So now then control T again. Let me just make that look quite real small. So shift. So I told you this already. So shift. Yes. So now this looks like it's on the ground. This looks like it's on the ground. So now this is just it. This is how you crop a picture from a noisy background. So you can see where we started from and where we've reached already. So now this one is good to go. Okay, this one is good to go. At least most people won't even know that you bought a picture from somewhere and placed it on this background. This is Photoshop for you. So now let's. This one is not part of the uh, selection though, but this is how to blend. This is how to blend pictures to backgrounds. Now there are several ways of blending. You can use curves. You can use this is curves here. This is the adjustment layers. So you do this, you have brightness levels. I'm sure you've seen all those things in the other version of Photoshop. So this is all. Bye.